is happening, Metasites? Welcome to the Metapalooza Show. And I was just testing this microphone again, giving it another chance. So, yeah, just playing with the settings. I sound like Vader. No, I am your father. Join me and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son. You don't know the power of the dark side.
I don't know about this thing, but this thing might actually grow on me a little bit. It's just too bad you can't... Twister. That's different. Wow. I was just reviewing this in the last video. My one complaint about this microphone is that it doesn't directly connect with the camera, which I'm using, via Bluetooth. I don't know how well you can hear me on this, but I'm just gonna... Yeah, I may have to see if I can get exchange or return this to get my money back, because this was only a cheap made in China mic. It says Bluetooth, but it doesn't even connect. So anyway, I was just gonna fool around with this a little bit and see if maybe I could use it for a couple of videos. I don't know, but I mean, this is really not how I wanted to. I mean, like, I wanted to get out and interview people, and this microphone, it's like, as I said, it's not connected. I have to put my voice up really close like this so you can hear me. But when it comes to using the professional wireless mics, those cost a lot more. So it's not on my pay grade, and I'm sorry, I won't be able to interview people out in the mall like I was going to do by now. But yeah, I should probably just talk about a very serious topic today, which I've found... This mic. Okay, I'm just going to use this. So anyway, I was watching a YouTube video about a guy who was doing a vlog, and China, they're now protesting on the streets. If you don't understand China's government, the CCP is basically dictating what citizens can do and what they can't do. COVID-19 was a very big deal, and they went the extreme. They were talking about this is going to be really hard for me to talk about in this video because it's just bad. But I'm just going to say that when they locked people, when they were putting people under lockdown, there was an incident which happened. There was like a fire which happened in one of these big apartment complexes. And when it happened, you see, was they couldn't get out when they boarded the door shut.
Power off.
Yeah, this mic. So anyway, in a nutshell, the citizens of China are angry, and rightfully so. Good for them. They've taken to the streets. Now, if you're a Chinese citizen in this day and age, that's considered to be a really big offense. And the CCP, if they don't like what you're doing, basically they can ruin your life if you're stepping out of line. Which, you know, it's good that the Chinese are finally stepping up for what they believe in. You know, human rights should be a universal thing. when it gets to the point where locking people inside and preventing them from leaving their homes in the case of a fire. I mean, it's terrible. What had happened with the Freedom Convoy, yeah, in Canada, I believe that we should have gone the extra mile. We should have gone the distance and taken Trudeau out of there. I mean, yeah, things might be bad in Canada, but that's nothing compared to what is going on in communist China. That place, yeah, I have full support for these people because they've had it. They've had enough. They've had enough of the oppression. They know that the government is not really working for them. And their restrictions are more severe than what we experience in the West. Right now, as I'm sitting in this room, talking to you, behind the screen, I can upload this video, and worst case scenario, they could just hit me with the strike. Okay, I've been striked a lot, but if I had done the same as what I did over there in communist China, they throw me into the gulag. Yeah. And we take so much of our freedoms for granted. This is why I get really pissed off when I see people who keep leaving their channels blank because they have a voice. I'm trying to get my show on the go so I can tackle issues. People don't take me seriously, maybe because I don't have a big studio, or maybe because I don't have people in my videos that I can bounce off ideas and talk with them. It's too bad that I looked to the wrong people to help me because I believe that by this time I could have been doing so much better. I could have probably even branched off into other platforms when I was ready. And I'm not ready right now still, but I had a lot to talk about. There was an important topic which I had tried to talk about over a year ago when this pandemic hit, and I was trying to express what I seen, and I couldn't share it. I couldn't share it. YouTube, they just had me shadow banned. But yeah, what I'm experiencing right now is nothing compared to what the people that in communist China are experiencing, because they are oppressed. And we in the West, we don't have it so bad. We just believe that things are going to continue on, and this past year has been like a big hiccup. Like, inflation, okay, is gone up a little bit. That's why I don't like to spend too much money, because I'm afraid of putting my money towards something. That's why I'm living below my means right now, because it's a very sensible way to live. And you don't see me going out to Starbucks and wasting money on $10 lattes and going to visit the malls and the bars and all the clubs and all the other fancy restaurants that all these higher tier YouTubers who got money, must be nice. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but you know what? I know it's low key right now. This setup is in my basement. It's in my own cozy little apartment. It's not ideal, but it could be a lot worse. I could be living in communist China right now. Instead of using the Chinese knockoff microphones, I could be using nothing. This channel could be taken down next week for all I know, because I'm talking about issues which matter. Maybe not everybody cares about or they know about my channel, that it exists, but I was just talking about, in my last video, I was talking about the woke agenda, and now they're pushing for a Willow TV series. They ruined Lord of the Rings. We have that freedom right now to talk about these issues. Is the majority going to care at this stage? Probably not, because they have other things going on in their lives that they just don't. They're unfazed about it. They're like, yeah, they just change the channel. They deal with it like, okay, I don't like this. I'm just gonna on to the next channel, where we can be entertained, because people now today have options. People in the West, I'm I mean, I live in the West, but I mean, I believe that we are, to a degree, we have been spoiled. We've been given so much, and people don't realize there is a responsibility that should come with all this freedom. If you don't fight to defend your freedoms, what's going to happen, you see, is that right now, as I'm sitting in this room, our government Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he's invoking emergency acts. He's freezing PayPal bank accounts, like for the donations from the truckers. They had this big huge protest which did occur, and they did it in a non-violent way. The world was watching. I believe that Trudeau is a dictator, but I'm allowed to say that without consequence. Again, if I said Xi Ping, somebody, I don't know, the leader of China, if he's a dictator and that he's a tyrant, what's going to happen? I would be thrown into the gulag because of something I said that upset the government. Maybe maybe I've said too much. Maybe that's why my channels are not growing. But this is why I say to my metasites, we have that freedom. We have the ability to speak our minds, because if we don't do that, you see what's going to happen is that when inflation gets worse, when we see a decline in the standard of living, and then we continually rely on China. China is going to be the next superpower. I know it. Everybody doesn't like China, but China is still going to become the most powerful country in the world. Why? Because they're geared towards power and world domination. And every time that we make a purchase of these cheap knockoff made in China stuff, because it's cheaper, people are still buying it just because, and with the structure of business, it's just cheaper to buy something online than to go to a store, and that's why China can get away with a lot of this, because everything is now made in China these days. Probably 80% of my electronics now have been made in China. Last week, my phone got so hot, I had to put it in the freezer for like almost a half hour, because what I've seen, these phones have got only a very limited half-life. So when people are buying that new iPhone 14, guess where the components came from? You guessed it, China. And maybe a few extra components came from America or Switzerland. But I mean, for the most part, they've been mass produced. A lot of our manufactured products came from China, and right now China is gone full on dictatorship with the new lockdown rules. Do you know that they actually blurred out people with the masks when they were in a stadium? I guess there was like people in a row not wearing masks, and the CCP, or the China media conglomerate, they had to screen and censor that, because the censorship over there is just so extreme. You guys don't know what that's like, because you've been growing up in a free and open society. Like, you have been given so much, you have the power now to broadcast and say what it is you want. Still, for the most part, you can't say anything bad about the Kool-Aid. But apart from that, I mean, that's just a slippery slope. If you say something that goes against the narrative or the establishment, you're probably going to be hit with a strike. And this is why we need to, more than ever, we need to use our voice. And that's it, I'm done. I hope you guys are staying crafty. And I'll see you next time. Peace.